Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most exciting topics in tech right now, Apple's upcoming MacBook Pro with the brand new M5 chip. We'll talk about its expected features, performance upgrades, design, and of course the expected launch date. So hit that like button and let's get started.
Apple's M-series chips have redefined laptop performance since 2020. The M1 shocked the world with its efficiency. The M2 built on that momentum. The M3 brought 3nm performance, and the M4 focused on AI capabilities and graphics. Now, the M5 is set to push things even further, likely building on all those advancements.
The M5 chip will be manufactured using TSMC's third-generation 3nm process, which means better performance with less power. This isn't just a minor tweak. Moving to a more refined node on the manufacturing process allows for denser transistors, which directly translates to more computational power packed into the same physical space.
For you, the user, this could mean your MacBook Pro runs demanding applications like Final Cut Pro or Logic Pro for longer stretches without needing to be plugged in. It also means the machine might run cooler under load. Beyond just the shrink in manufacturing process, we're also anticipating architectural improvements within the M5. Apple doesn't just rely on TSMC's advancements, they're constantly refining their own CPU and GPU core designs, as well as the neural engine. We might see an increase in core counts, particularly for the higher-end M5 Pro or M5 Max variants. The neural engine is another area ripe for a big jump, especially with Apple's increasing focus on AI and machine learning features within macOS and its applications. Looking back at the M-series journey, it's been a pretty remarkable run. The M1 set a new baseline, the M2 refined it, the M3 introduced the first-gen 3nm benefits and hardware-accelerated ray tracing, and the M4 gave us a glimpse of an even more powerful neural engine and next-gen GPU. Apple has, by and large, delivered on its promises with each generation, often exceeding expectations. While this video is primarily focused on the M5 chip that will likely power the base model MacBook Pros, it's important to remember how Apple scales this technology. We fully expect to see M5 Pro and M5 Max versions, and eventually an M5 Ultra, probably for Mac Studio or Mac Pro. So, to sum up this first part, the M5 chip isn't just an incremental update, it's poised to be a significant step forward.
Early reports and analyst predictions suggest a performance uplift in the range of 15 to 25% compared to the M4, especially in multi-core and GPU-heavy tasks. For users engaged in demanding workflows like video editing, 3D rendering, or even high-end gaming on the Mac, this kind of upgrade could make a really noticeable difference in their daily productivity and experience. For those working in 3D rendering and animation, the M5's potential performance jump is equally exciting. Imagine quicker previews in applications like Blender, Cinema 4D, or Maya, allowing for a more iterative and fluid creative process. And with the M3 generation introducing hardware-accelerated ray tracing, any further GPU enhancements in the M5 will only make those ray-traced renders even faster and more feasible for everyday work. And what about gaming? While Macs haven't traditionally been the first choice for hardcore gamers, Apple has been making strides with metal-in tools like the Game Porting Toolkit. A 15 to 25% boost, particularly in GPU performance, could mean higher, more consistent frame rates in demanding titles that do run on macOS. The multi-core aspect of this performance uplift is also crucial. Many professional applications are designed to take advantage of multiple CPU cores. Think about software developers compiling large projects of code, a task that can be very time-consuming. A significant boost in multi-core performance means faster build times, allowing developers to iterate more quickly. Let's not forget the GPU improvements specifically. Beyond gaming and 3D rendering, a more powerful GPU impacts a wide range of tasks. Many creative applications like Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator use GPU acceleration for filters, effects, and even smooth canvas manipulation. So an M5 with a stronger GPU component will enhance the experience across the board, making everything feel a bit snappier and more fluid. It's important to reiterate that these are still early days, and performance expectations are based on rumors, supply chain whispers, and analysis of TSMC's process advancements.
Beyond the raw power of the M5 chip itself, The upcoming MacBook Pros are also expected to incorporate some key new connectivity standards. Specifically, we're hearing strong rumors about support for Wi-Fi 7 and Thunderbolt 5. These might not be the flashiest headline features for everyone, but for pro users and those looking to future-proof their investment, these are significant upgrades that will enhance connectivity and data transfer capabilities for years to come.
These features, Wi-Fi 7 and Thunderbolt 5, might not sound super exciting on paper if you're not deep into a spec sheet, but trust me, they will translate to smoother workflows, much better external display support, and significantly faster file transfers. Let's dive a bit deeper into Wi-Fi 7, also known as 802.11b. This is the next major evolution in Wi-Fi technology. Compared to Wi-Fi 6 and 6E, Wi-Fi 7 promises substantially higher theoretical speeds, potentially multiple times faster. But it's not just about raw throughput. It also brings improvements like lower latency, which is great for video conferencing and cloud-based applications, and better capacity and efficiency in congested network environments. Then there's Thunderbolt 5. This is a big one for professionals. Thunderbolt 4 was already very capable, but Thunderbolt 5, based on the USB 4 version 2.0 spec, is set to offer even more bandwidth, potentially up to 80 Gbps bidirectionally, and even 120 Gbps in certain asymmetric configurations. When we talk about smoother workflows, these new I/O standards are key enablers. For a video editor, Thunderbolt 5 could mean offloading terabytes of footage from a camera card to an external SSD in a fraction of the time it currently takes. The better external display support that Thunderbolt 5 promises is also a major draw for many pro users. So while new ports and wireless standards might not grab headlines like a new chip design, they are incredibly important for the longevity and utility of a professional laptop.
Design-wise, if you're expecting a radical overhaul for the M5 MacBook Pro, you might want to temper those expectations. Apple typically keeps its MacBook industrial design language consistent for several years between major refreshes. The current design, introduced in 2021, is still relatively fresh and very well regarded. However, that doesn't mean there won't be any refinements. We could potentially see slightly smaller bezels around the display, continued improvements in thermal management thanks to the M5's efficiency, and possibly even a subtly slimmer or lighter chassis. Apple's design philosophy for its MacBooks, especially the Pro line, often favors iterative refinement over frequent drastic changes. There's a good reason for this. Users, particularly professionals, value consistency and familiarity. The current MacBook Pro design is also praised for its build quality, excellent keyboard and trackpad, and functional port array. The possibility of smaller bezels is an intriguing one. While the current MacBook Pro bezels are reasonably slim, especially with the notch housing the camera, there's always room for improvement. Talk of improved thermals is always welcome, especially in a Pro machine. The M-series chips are already known for their efficiency, but any further gains with the M5, coupled with potential refinements to the internal cooling system, could lead to even better sustained performance. The idea of a slimmer chassis is perhaps the most speculative of the potential design tweaks. So, while the shell might look very familiar, the engineering underneath is where Apple's innovation will shine. While our main focus today is the M5 MacBook Pro, which is anticipated for a late 2025 release, it's worth touching upon the M5 MacBook Air. According to current rumors and typical Apple release patterns, the MacBook Air with the M5 chip is likely to arrive a bit later, probably sometime in the first half of 2026. Apple often staggers the rollout of its new silicon across different product lines, and this strategy seems to be continuing with the M5 series. Why does Apple typically release the Pro models with new generation chips before the Air models, or vice versa sometimes? It often comes down to market segmentation and product lifecycle management. The Pro models are aimed at users who need the absolute latest performance and features, and are often willing to pay a premium for them. The Air, on the other hand, targets a broader audience, including students and everyday users, where a balance of performance, portability, and price is key. So, what would an M5 MacBook Air offer when it eventually arrives? We can expect it to bring a similar generational leap in performance and efficiency over the M3 or M4 Air, tailored for its fanless design. It would likely focus on delivering excellent battery life, snappy performance for everyday tasks, web browsing, light creative work, and media consumption. The focus will be on making that sleek package even more capable internally with the M5 chip. The MacBook Air holds a really important place in Apple's Mac lineup.
Alright, let's talk about when we might actually see these M5 MacBook Pros. According to several trusted sources and analysts who have a good track record with Apple predictions, the company is reportedly aiming to launch the M5-equipped MacBook Pro models in October or November of 2025. This timing aligns perfectly with Apple's typical release cycle for its professional-grade MacBooks, which often see updates in the fall, just ahead of the holiday shopping season. It gives them a strong product to carry into the new year. Apple's fall release schedule is a well-oiled machine. We often see new iPhones in September, followed by iPads and Macs in October, or sometimes November. This cadence allows Apple to dominate tech headlines for a significant portion of the latter half of the year. Launching the M5 MacBook Pro in this window would make a lot of sense from a marketing and sales perspective. It also gives developers who attended WWDC earlier in the year time to optimize their apps for any new hardware capabilities or macOS features that might accompany the M5. So, for now, the best advice is to tentatively mark your calendars for late fall 2025, specifically October or November, as the potential launch window for the M5 MacBook Pro.
So, this brings us to the big question, the one I get asked all the time when new tech is on the horizon. Should you wait for the M5 MacBook Pro? My general advice is this: if you already have an M2 or M3 generation MacBook Pro, and you're genuinely happy with its performance for your current workload, you might not need to upgrade to the M5 immediately. Those are still incredibly capable machines, but if you're still rocking an Intel-based Mac or even an M1 series Mac and you're starting to feel its limits, then waiting for the M5 could absolutely be well worth it. The jump will be substantial. Let's expand on that M2 or M3 Pro user scenario. These machines are powerhouses. The M3 in particular, being on the first gen 3nm process, already offers fantastic performance and efficiency. For most users, even professionals, an M2 Pro Max or M3 Pro Max MacBook Pro is more than enough for their current and near future needs. Upgrading to an M5 Pro from these might offer a noticeable speed bump, say 15 to 30% depending on the task and specific chip, but whether that justifies the cost of a new machine is a personal calculation. If your workflow is bottlenecked elsewhere, or if you're not maxing out your current M2/M3, the M5 might be more of a nice-to-have than a must-have. Now, for those of you still using an Intel-based MacBook Pro, the decision is much clearer. The jump from any Intel Mac to an M5 Mac will be transformative. We're talking orders of magnitude improvement in performance per watt. This means dramatically faster speeds in almost every task, significantly longer battery life, often double or more, a machine that runs much cooler and quieter because the fans won't be screaming all the time, and seamless integration with the entire Apple ecosystem of software and services optimized for Apple Silicon. If your Intel Mac is showing its age, waiting for the M5 Pro is almost a no-brainer. The upgrade will feel like night and day. So, to wrap up the should you wait discussion, it really boils down to your current machine, your specific needs, and your budget. That's everything we know so far, or at least everything we think we know, about the upcoming M5 MacBook Pro. From the potential of that new 3nm M5 chip to the performance expectations, those new connectivity standards like Wi-Fi 7 and Thunderbolt 5, and the likely design continuity, there's a lot to look forward to. It's shaping up to be another solid step forward for Apple's Pro laptops. What feature are you most excited about? Or what are you hoping Apple includes? Let us know down in the comments below. This M5 generation feels like it's going to be a really mature and powerful iteration, building on the strong foundations laid by the M1, M2, M3, and even the M4's AI focus. For professionals, these machines are tools, and any improvement in speed, efficiency, or connectivity directly translates to better productivity and potentially new creative possibilities. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the core silicon to the broader implications for different types of users. The anticipation is definitely building, and I, for one, am really keen to see how these machines perform in real-world testing once they're out. So, that's the M5 MacBook Pro rundown. If you found this video helpful or informative, definitely give it a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. And if you want to see more deep dives like this, and of course our full in-depth review of the M5 MacBook Pro, when it eventually drops later next year, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.